In every Holy Eucharist, the same death of Jesus that happened on 2000 years ago on Mount Calvary is made present in front of our eyes. And that is what is happening in the Holy Eucharist. Every Holy Eucharist is not another sacrifice. It is not a reenactment of the event. No. It is the same event that happened 2000 years ago is made present to us each and every moment we celebrate the Holy Mass. That is why once in a while God opens our eyes and we are able to see this supernatural event, and that is what we call Eucharistic miracles. Every Eucharistic miracle is just a sign God gives us to make us believe that we are truly joining in the same event that happened 2000 years ago. This is not another reenactment. It is not just a memory of what has happened 2000 years ago, but it is as it is. It is the same that happened 2000 years ago that is made available for us and made present to us. Today, during this Holy Divine Mercy Chaplet, I'm going to introduce to you a couple of maybe two or three Eucharistic miracles which are approved by the Catholic Church. There are hundreds of Eucharistic miracles which are approved by the Catholic Church. And there are thousands of Eucharistic miracles which are not officially approved, but it is appreciated, or maybe it is considered as a faith expression. There are so many stages to approve a miracle. The first sign is, the first reaction of the church is, any miracle that happened, immediately it is informed to the bishop, diocese, the bishop, and bishop will do some. When the bishop is happy with the, when he's happy with the miracle that happened, then he may tell the faithful, you can go and visit the place. It's an expression of the faith. And after lots of investigations and experiments by the official committee and commissions, the church or the diocese will officially declare that this is intervention of supernatural intervention of God. And again, after so many years of experiments and investigations, officially the Holy Catholic Church will declare it as a miracle. And it is a long process to approve any miracle as an official miracle of the church. It is not easy for the Catholic Church to approve every miracle as a miracle. So initially it is appreciated as a faith expression. Normally all the miracles which are supernatural in nature will be appreciated or approved as a faith expression, and that is the first step. But at the same time, after a lot of experiments, officially the Catholic Church declares certain miracles as the real miracles of the Lord. There are so many miracles which are approved officially by the Catholic Church and publicly venerated and honored. And some of those we will see today. And there are so many other miracles, thousands of miracles that really happened, but at the same time in the process of being approved as a miracle by the church. So we can see so many of these kind of miracles through the online, in the YouTube and many other places. So today I just want to speak to you about something that happened in 2008. It's not far from our time. And 2008 on October 12th, the church dedicated to Saint Anthony of Sokółka. It's in Poland, a place in Poland. Sokółka, the Holy Mass of 8:30 morning Mass was celebrated by a young vicar, Philip Zdrowski. During the communion, unknowingly a Holy Eucharist fell down on the floor and Father did not notice it. But there was one lady who was standing in the queue to receive the Holy Communion, happened to notice this Holy Communion fallen down, and then she bring these things to the notice of the priest, and the priest got shocked suddenly, and then he knew that it is get dirtied after falling on the floor, And then he took this Holy Eucharist and he kept it in the vasculum. Is a small silver vessel which contains the water utilized for the priest to wash their hands during the Holy Mass, wash the fingers. After distributing the communion, the priest wash their fingers in that small bowl where there is water kept. And Father kept this Holy Eucharist, which was fallen on the floor, kept in the this small silver vessel. At the end of the Holy Mass, the sacristan, there was a sacristan, Sister Julia Dubowska, takes the vasculum with the host, and for the increased safety, she kept it. She poured it into another vessel, which she then locks in the safe where the chalices were kept. And she kept it along with, in every church there is a small safe, a strong safe. And that is where normally the priest, they keep all the holy things, holy articles, especially the chalice paten, and all the holy things are kept inside. And then after this is what officially the Metropolitan Curia of Biolis, the church, the diocese, released this declaration concerning this Eucharistic miracle that occurred at Sokółka. On October 12, 2008, a consecrator host fell out of the hands of a priest while he was distributing Holy Communion. And this is the official declaration by the church. And the church says, he picked it up and placed it in a vessel filled with water in the tabernacle. After Mass, the vessel containing the host was placed in a safe present in the sacristy. And on October 19, that is after 7 days, 2008, after opening the safe, one could clearly see a red stain on the host that had fallen. A red stain in the host, which was taken after 1 week, and which with the naked eye immediately gave the impression being a blood stain. On October 29, 2008, the vessel containing the host was transferred to the tabernacle of the chapel of the rectory. And there, the next day, the host was removed from the water contained in the vessel and placed on a corporal inside the tabernacle. So that blood-stained host was taken and kept it on a corporeal, is a small cloth which is normally kept on the altar on which we keep the Holy Eucharist, the holy things. And this on the corporeal, they kept the holy host, which has the blood stain. And we'll see these pictures on the screen, and then we will understand. This is the bread. One side you can see the small color of the bread. At the same time, the rest of it became the body of the Lord and the blood of the Lord. And on 29, the vessel containing the host was transferred to the tabernacle of the chapel of the rectory. The next day, the host was removed from the water contained in the vessel and placed on a corporal inside the tabernacle. On January 7, 2009, the sample of the host was taken and examined independently by 2 professionals in histopathology at the University of Medicine of Bialystok. They issued a common declaration which states the sample sent for evaluation looks like a myocardial tissue. In our opinion, of all the tissues of living organisms, this is the one that resembles it the most. So it is from the heart. It is from the side of the heart of a human being. This blood is collected. Blood comes. The commission has noted that the analyzed host is the same one that has been moved from the sacristy to the tabernacle in the chapel of the rectory. Intervention by a third party has not been found. And the 6th point they say is the case of Sokółka does not contradict the faith of the church, but rather confirms it. And this is a sister who was the sacristan of that time. So let's thank the Lord for these miracles that the Lord is doing in our midst. My dear brothers and sisters, we all know that we have a feast called Corpus Christi. It was announced by Pope Urban IV in August of 1264. And there is a reason why Pope Urban has declared this feast. Through his papal bull, he instituted the feast of the Corpus Christi, There is an incident that happened previously, just 1 year before that papal institution. And that is about the Eucharistic miracle that happened in Bolsena, one of the cities in Italy. It was a Eucharistic miracle of Bolsena in the famous church, and depicted by Raphael in a well-known fresco in the Vatican Palace. Took place in 1263, and 1264 the Corpus Christi feast started. A German priest, Peter of Prague, stopped at Bolsena while on a pilgrimage to Rome. And he was pious, but he found it difficult to accept that Christ was actually present in the consecrated host. He could not believe, though he was celebrating Holy Mass and he was so holy and pious, but at the same time he could not believe Jesus is really and truly present in the Holy Eucharist. And with this lack of faith in the presence of Jesus in the Eucharist, but still he celebrated the Holy Mass, and on the way for pilgrimage to Rome, he came to that church and he stopped there and celebrated the Holy Mass above the tomb of Saint Christina, located in the church named for this matter. And then this is what happened. Let's see this picture of, he spoke the words of consecration, and immediately a blood started to seep from the consecrated host and trickle over his hands and onto the altar. At first the priest tried to hide the blood, but eventually he interrupted the mass and asked to be taken to the neighboring city of Orvieto, where Pope Urban IV resided. The Pope sent emissaries to investigate. When the facts were ascertained, he ordered the bishop of the diocese to bring the host and the linen cloth bearing the stains of blood to him. He had the relics placed in the cathedral, and the linen bearing the spots of blood is still reverently enshrined and exhibited in the Cathedral of Orvieto. Pope Urban IV was prompted by this miracle to commission St. Thomas Aquinas to compose the office for the Mass and Liturgy of the Hours to celebrate the most holy body of the Lord, the Corpus Christi. And 1 year after this miracle, in August of 1264, Pope Urban IV introduced the Aquinas composition, and by means of a papal bull instituted the feast of Corpus Christi. And that's how this feast has come into existence. So let's thank the Lord for these miracles, and let's glorify the Lord. The Lord is so keen in making everyone to believe that He is really and truly and substantially present in the Holy Eucharist. If anyone has a doubt, that is why the Lord has given us so many Eucharistic miracles in front of us, to believe that He is truly present in the Blessed Sacrament. My dear brothers and sisters, in the history of the Catholic Church, one of the most powerful and most famous miracle, Eucharistic miracle, is the miracle at Lanciano, Italy. And let's see these some of the pictures of this miracle. And this happened in the 8th century. The Archbishop Lanciano and the provincial superior of the conventual Franciscans at Abruzzo, with Rome's approval, requested Dr. Edward Linoli to have an investigation about this miracle that happened in the 8th century. And there was a Franciscan priest who was celebrating the Holy Mass, and he doubted the presence of Jesus Christ in the Holy Mass, especially in the holy bread and the wine. And as we were celebrating the Holy Mass, exactly at the time of consecration, suddenly the bread became the flesh of a human being, and the wine became literally the true blood of Jesus Christ. And later, after some time, this blood became 5 clots, small, different shape and different size clots of the blood. So 5 pieces. 5 clots. It became small 5 clots. But when it is measured, the measurement was, though it was, when it is taken individually, the small clot individually, it was around 5.85 grams. Each was measuring 5.85 grams. But when it is put together and measured, again it is 5.85 gram. And that itself is the miracle. When it is taken individually, each clot, 5.85 gram. And when it is put together, again, it was the same measure. And therefore, in 1971, the Archbishop Lanciano and Provincial Superior of the Conventual Franciscans, with the Rome's approval, they asked Dr. Edward Linoli, Director of the Hospital in Arezzo and Professor of Anatomy, Histology, Chemistry and Clinical Microscopy, to perform a thorough scientific examination on the relics of the miracle which had occurred 12 centuries earlier. And then on March 4, 1971, the professor presented a detailed report of the various studies carried out. Here, some results mentions like this. The number one, the miraculous flesh is authentic flesh consisting of muscular striated tissue of the myocardium. And the second point is, this miraculous blood is truly blood. The chromatographic analysis indicated this with absolute and indisputable certainty. The immunological study shows with the certitude that the flesh and the blood are human, and immunohematological test allows us to affirm with complete objectivity and certitude that both belong to the same blood type of AB positive, the same blood type as that of the man of the Shroud of Turin, and the type most characteristic of Middle Eastern populations, the same kind of the blood samples of the Middle Eastern people, and the same blood group of the Shroud of Turin, and also the same blood type is seen in this miracle as well, AB positive. The proteins contained in the blood have the normal distribution in the identical percentage as that of the seroprotein chart for normal fresh blood. An histological dissection has revealed any trace of salt infiltrations or preservative substance used in antiquity for the purpose of embalming. So there is no sign of any preservatives for these holy things, but it is all intact. That is the findings of this doctor. This report was published in the Sclavo Notebooks in Diagnostics in Collection 3, 1971, and aroused great interest in the scientific world. Also in 1973, the Chief Advisory Board of the World Health Organization, WHO, appointed a scientific commission to corroborate Linoni's findings. And their work lasted 15 months and included 500 tests. It was verified that the fragments taken from Lanciano could in no way be likened to embalmed tissue. It is real and true. As to the nature of the fragment of flesh, the commission declared it to be living tissue because it responded rapidly to all the clinical reactions distinctive of living beings. Their reply fully corroborated Professor Linoli's conclusions. In the extra summarizing the scientific work of the Medical Commission of the World Health Organization and the UN, United Nations, published in December 1996 in New York and Geneva, declared that science, aware of its limits, has come to a halt face to face with the impossibility of giving an explanation. So this is what happened for the UNO. So this is what we call the miracle at Lanciano, Italy. Let's thank the Lord for this mighty miracle, an indisputable miracle that the Lord has given not only to the Christian world but also to the scientific world.